Hello, ladies and gentlemen of Year 7. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on the time that you are watching this video. Our main topic today is going to be about letter writing. Two important things you have to remember when writing a letter is your audience and your purpose. Your audience are the people or the person who's going to read your letter, and who you are writing the letter to. The reason why audience is important is because your audience will determine if the letter you're writing is going to be a formal letter or an informal letter. The reason why this is important again is because formal and informal letters have different writing techniques. Another important thing is the purpose, which is why you're writing the letter. For example, a formal letter can be written to an institution, and you can be writing to complain about something, right? An informal letter can be written to a friend, and it can be written to catch them up on a holiday that you went to, for example. So we'll start with informal letters. Informal letters are simple letters. They use informal language as if you are chatting with a friend. But the one thing you have to remember about informal letter is that it's not texting. Alright? It's just a letter with a easier tone, which means it's a letter that doesn't have to sound so professional. It can start with dear or dearest. The most common start for an informal letter is actually dear. And never forget your comma after you write their name here. It ends with love. It can also end with yours, best wishes, or your friend. Remember, the first letter of your ending should always be capitalized. And you have a comma here that you can't forget. There are no contractions or abbreviations in informal letters, which means you can't have cuz. You can't write you like you, because you are still being assessed for grammar and spelling as well as the content of your letter. Remember to show that there is a prior relationship or a friendship between the sender and the recipient, and that's why the letter will be an informal letter, because you are sending it to somebody, or the sender is sending it to somebody that they know. Moving on to formal letters. Formal letters follow a specific template that we are going to discuss. The tone of the formal letter is formal, obviously, which means it's always polite. You have to sound professional. So if this was the template for formal letters, you've got space here where you have to write the recipient's name and address. On the other side, you're supposed to write the sender's name and address. Then you write the date. The date you always write with the month in words. For example, 19th September 2022. Don't forget the comma between the month and the year. Then you start it off with dear, and you leave a blank for their name. You use Mr. or Mrs. for married adults, Miss for an unmarried female, Master for a non-adult boy. If you don't know their name, you use dear Sir/Madam, and you never forget this comma after their name or Sir/Madam. Then you have the structure of your content, which we'll go through soon enough. It goes 1, 2, 3, and 4, which means at least you give me 4 paragraphs in your formal letter. Alright? Alright, it's paragraphs. Alright? Then you sign off your letter. You have to sign off with yours. In formal, we either use faithfully or sincerely. We use faithfully if we don't know who we're sending it to, and we use sincerely if we know who we're sending it to. Then you literally sign the letter. For example, I'll sign it as Da. Then you write your name And I put position here in brackets because it is optional. You don't always have to write your position. For example, if you're writing a letter to a supermarket, the position would be in brackets or under the name, a loyal customer, for example. All right, so moving on to formal language. You can't use lol, cuz, and you, and you can't use contractions as well. You can't use can't and didn't. You always have to use can, not, and did not. All right, you have to write words out fully, and you have to write numbers out fully, which means you can't write 5 days, you have to write 5 days. You always end it with a signature and name and a position if necessary. With regards to content, which is the structure of 1, 2, 3, 4 that we talked about, the first paragraph is always a short introductory paragraph with the main purpose of why you're writing. For example, if I was to write to a grocery store to complain about how expensive the products provided by them became, I will introduce myself. For example, I am Dara. I am writing regarding the remarkable increase in the prices of the products provided by insert name of store there. All right. Second paragraph that we move on to is the paragraph where you write your points. You explain why the letter is being written. The third paragraph, you offer your solutions or alternatives, especially if you are complaining about something, right? And in the fourth paragraph, you always end by saying that you are open to communication. For example, if you are writing to an institution and you want to complain about something, or you want to give them suggestions for something, they might have suggestions for you in your turn. So you always have to end by saying that you're open to communications, and possibly have your email inserted there, or your phone number inserted there. Otherwise, you can always direct them to the address that you have already written in your letter here. All right. Remember to use lucrative connectives. For example, you can use however, you can use since, you can use moreover, you can use while I understand that. Your task is to write a formal letter and an informal letter. You're free to choose what topic your informal letter is going to be about, but your formal letter has to be to a grocery store that keeps leaving their waste in front of your home, because your home is in close proximity to that grocery store. So write a letter to them complaining about that, and please hand it in to class. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask me. I hope you understood.